Good afternoon. This is Mark Harrison with Sewer Line Check Professionals. I am here at 232 South Van Ness Avenue in Los Angeles, and I'm preparing to perform a video examination of the main sewer line for Lisa Dennis. Now, the main sewer line is the portion of the waste drainage piping that is exterior to the structure. It lies underground and connects the building drain line system to the public sewer. The building drain line system then is the portion or portions of the waste drainage piping that would be underneath or interior to the structure. Our examination today is not focused on the building drain line system, so if further evaluation is desired regarding the building drain line system, a licensed plumbing contractor should be contacted, or a specialty building drain line video examination could be set up through our office. So I'm going to be performing my examination today from this 4-inch main sewer line cleanout located here in the driveway area on the right side of the structure. This is just forward of our driveway gates here. You can see it's just a few feet off the building here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop in and essentially run down and then run out under the yard area to the left of the driveway. Right here off to the right side of the screen, you'll see that's the main drain pipe coming out of the building and dropping into this primary main sewer line. Alright, so as we push through this first 25 feet or so, we're pushing through an original cast iron piping. Now, these cast iron pipe materials, typically, they would be expected to last somewhere in the 70 to 80 year range. I don't know exactly when this structure was built. All we can really do is look at the condition of the pipe. What I'm seeing is moderate to somewhat heavy rust and scale buildup. Looks like there's areas where the bottom of the pipe is starting to flatten out. Dark lines you see along the sides of the pipe are areas that are starting to weaken and crack. And I don't see that they've been compromised yet. In other words, I don't see any roots penetrating the walls of the pipe. This first 25 feet or so of pipe is nearing the end of its useful service life. As we get up here, just beyond this little connection here, you see we're getting into a lining system. This looks like probably where the cast iron pipe would have connected up to an old clay pipe, and they've administered a liner through this older original pipe here. Now, these lining systems are a method that inserts a sleeve essentially through the original pipe with the intention of rehabilitating that older original pipe. And this is a pretty common practice these days. There are several different lining systems available, but only a handful of them are actually approved by the City of LA for administration. So it's not something we're here to determine as far as if this is an approved liner. We're simply here to see how it's functioning and performing. And so far it looks pretty good. And here in a few feet we are going to come up on some root intrusions, and we'll go ahead and take a look at those and tell you what I think is occurring. Coming up on that now. So what it looks like is that it's a 4-inch pipe through the yard, and then around the sidewalk it increases to a 6-inch diameter. So they use a different liner in those different diameter pipes. So most likely what they did is they dug up down by the front of the yard here. We'll go ahead and push through this if we can. If you look closely at the bottom of the screen there, you'll see that's the end of the liner, and there's actually a piece of plastic here. We've got an earthworm crawling along the bottom here. That's a little more of a concern, meaning that something's been compromised. Those worms can only get into the system from outside the pipe. So here you see that darker colored pipe along the bottom, and as we get just beyond these roots, you'll see it's a short section of this black ABS plastic here. And then we go back to a lining system. It looks like that's where it increases to 6-inch. So they would have put a little short piece of plastic in here to connect these two dissimilar diameter pipes. We may have even put a clean out here, but we can't see it. But this connection here is intended to be sealed. So these roots coming in here is a defect or a compromise to the integrity of the pipe. So it's something we've gone ahead and marked it out with a red marker flag down by the front of the yard. Pipe's about 3 feet deep, so that'll need to be uncovered, and whatever couplings or whatever method they use to attach those pipe sections needs to be repaired. Alright, so as we get beyond that, now we're in the 6-inch pipe that's going to continue through all the way out to the public sewer near the middle of the street. I'm going to run about another 40 feet or so, I think. And it's the same thing. The lining system was intended to rehabilitate the pipe. We got a slight bend here. Now we're at the end of the liner. We're going to drop down into city sewer, and this connection is very heavily root intruded. Excuse me for a second, I'm going to turn some water on and see if I can punch through this. Take a minute for the water to get there. Alright, so you're seeing these heavy roots here at the city connection. And now when the liner basically stops short and doesn't make that turn into city sewer, that's not all that uncommon. There are components around these days that are designed for that city connection that can actually rehabilitate the entire connection. That wasn't used here in this case, whether it was unavailable at the time or just wasn't known about. See here, it's pretty thick and looks like it's backing up. Not able to punch the camera through it really, so this is going to need to get cleared out pretty effectively so that we can see what's happening there. So at this point, I think what I'm going to recommend is that the pipe be dug up there at the front of the property where the first root intrusion was, where that short section of plastic is, and probably snakes from there, so find a clean out or put one in there, so that we can get closer to that public connection. And then this really does need to get cleaned out so we can see what's happening here. Unfortunately, this is an area that is very common to break. So with all these roots, we can't see enough to be conclusive as to the condition. Running into here. It's just essentially a wall of roots. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video portion of the examination for today. Please do refer to my written report for the description of the final findings and recommendations. This is Mark Harrison with Sewer Line Check Professionals. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day.